Welcome to Social Aloe Ministries, where we are committed to glorifying God while exposing the devil. This may be a hard lesson for some individuals who have had fertility issues. You may want to turn away, but for those who can, bear with me. Many of you are like Mary, when the angel of the Lord Gabriel appeared to her and told her that the Holy Spirit was going to impregnate her with a child. In a lot of cases, many of you, men and women, are spiritually pregnant, but the church that you go to is like an abortion clinic. Because either the spiritual pregnancy that you have ends up becoming miscarried, and in some cases, it is like you receive a C-section against your will to remove that child, that spiritual child from your womb, and you never give birth. In other cases, some of you have been pregnant for a long time. You're in labor pains, but because you're in the wrong place, that spiritual child will not come out. In a sense, we see an example of that kind of spiritual bondage in Luke 13, verses 10 through 17. And this is about Jesus. And he was teaching in one of the synagogues on the Sabbath. And behold, there was a woman which had a spirit of infirmity 18 years, and was bowed together, and could in no wise lift up herself. So we can assume that this woman had been going to a synagogue faithfully for 18 years, but she had been afflicted by a spirit of infirmity. And when Jesus saw her, he called her to him and said unto her, Woman, thou art loose from thy infirmity. And he laid his hands on her, and immediately she was made straight and glorified God. She was in a place to get something, but she did not get it until Jesus showed up. In some cases, the church you're going to, Jesus is not showing up. Jesus is not showing up. And the ruler of the synagogue answered with indignation. The woman who had been afflicted for 18 years finally got healed and was glorifying God. But it states, and the ruler of the synagogue answered with indignation, because that Jesus had healed on the Sabbath day. And said unto the people, There are 6 days in which men ought to work. In them therefore come and be healed. Now the hypocrite, she had been there for 18 years, had not gotten healed, but now, this is what you call a religious spirit. He's talking about that there are 6 days to be healed. So all the 6 days that she was around never got healed, but now that she got healed because it's on the Sabbath, he has something negative to say. Again, this is an example of someone killing that spiritual pregnancy. Killing that spiritual pregnancy. So I'll say again, there are 6 days in which men ought to work. In them, therefore, come and be healed, and not on the Sabbath day. Wow. The Lord then answered him and said, Thou hypocrite, doth not each one of you on the Sabbath loose his ox and his ass from the stall, and lead him away to watering? And ought not this woman, being a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan hath bound, lo, these 18 years, be loosed from this bond on the Sabbath day? And when he had said these things, all his adversaries were ashamed. And all the people rejoiced for all the glorious things that were done by him. Many of you know it, that you are spiritually pregnant. You've probably been feeling those labor pains, yet you have not given birth because you are submitted to the wrong people. You are in the wrong place. Christianity is truly about having a personal relationship with the Lord. Yes, as believers, we ought to fellowship with each other. But it all comes down to having a personal relationship with the Lord. That lady, if she'd been listening to the holy men, they would be saying things like healing on the 6 other days of the week, even though the Lord wanted to heal her on another day. There are things that the Lord wants to do in your life, but because of the people you're submitted to, you are not getting what the Lord has in store for you. Ensure that your relationship is such with the Lord that if he tells you to do something against the wishes of men, that you will do his will. Because very likely, that is what is stopping you from giving birth. That may be what is stopping you from getting spiritually pregnant and fulfilling the destiny that the Lord has in store just for you.